everybody. I'm going to give everybody just a couple seconds to pop on while I do what I always do, because I always forget to do it ahead of time. And that is to put Facebook on my phone so I can see when the thing is actually live. So we are there. There we are right there. And it's good to see. I hope that everybody has had a phenomenal day. Just say hi when you pop on. Let me know where you are watching this from. And tell me what you do in your area of the world. And we're gonna just let people jump on for just a second. So another hot day here in Dallas, but we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. So I am super excited. All right, there you guys go. Very good. Very, very good. So definitely make sure that you share your comments and your questions and all that kind of stuff, because this is a really awesome topic and one that is not talked about nearly enough. And I have the perfect person to do it. So we are going to get right into the conversation. I want to welcome my guest. She is affectionately known as the Fit Doc. Her name is Dr. Michele Reed, and she is actually a medical doctor. She's an entrepreneur. She's a physician. She's a health coach. She's a certified personal trainer. And she motivates her patients by following the same health advice that she gives others. She serves as the owner medical director of MS Family Medicine Healthcare. It's a holistic practice that serves diverse communities through 2 office locations in New York. She's been featured, because she's the bomb, on on the Rachel Ray Show, Newsday, New York Daily News, Ebony Magazine, Essence Magazine, Heart and Soul Magazine, and BlackDoctors.org. For those of you not familiar with me, welcome to my page and to Dr. Michele Reed's page. My name is Nikki Woods, and I am a 20-year media vet. I am the former, I guess, executive producer of the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and now I help entrepreneurs and influencers leverage the media to build their businesses. So let's talk health. Welcome to the show. Hey, Dr. Reed.
Thank you so much, Nikki, for that beautiful, beautiful introduction.
Well, I could say some other
bomb.com. That's what you said.
Basically. But we had to qualify why you're the bomb.com and why you should be the person having this conversation. So I'm extremely excited to talk about this. And one of the things that I was telling somebody earlier when I told them that I was going to do this conversation is like, we're the boss in most areas of our life, right? But when it really comes to owning our health, our fitness, our nutrition, and just healthy living, we don't seem to do so well. And so today I want to talk about how you can be the boss of your transformation when it comes to health and fitness. What do you think about that?
Well, that's so true. I mean, so many times we're getting pulled in all these different directions between work, family work is back and forth, and we never take time to do things for ourselves. So what I like to say is the first thing you need to do is prioritize yourself. That's number one.
Put me at number 1 on the list.
You are number 1. And you have to remember that, because if you don't feel that you're number 1, guess what? You're going to be last on the list. And everyone comes to you because you're the number 1 person, because they need this. They need that at home. They need this at work. They need this out on the street because somebody got hit by a car and you're walking by. Can I use your phone to call 911? So we're always going to the bottom of the list, but you have to remember that you are number 1. So number 1 has to take care of number 1 before they can take care of everyone else that's coming in all these different directions to them.
So, but as a doctor and a wife and, a mother, and obviously you've got friends and family, what do you do with that little nagging? Because I will tell you, for my birthday, I was like, I'm going to do this whole self-care thing. Like, I'm going to do this whole day at the spa. And it's like half the time I was sitting there going, gosh, I could be doing something. I was thinking of all the things that I could be doing. And so you get this little nagging guilt thing going on.
No, but you can't. You have to learn how to relax. And a lot of us don't know how to relax and just enjoy and be, instead of going in all these different directions. So what I like to do is on Saturdays and Sundays, we have Fit Doc Walk in the Park. And there's some people that are like, oh my gosh, you got us out here with nature. But guess what?
With nature?
Yes. I mean, like on Saturday, we saw 3 frogs, and one of my friends, she was going all over the place. Oh my gosh, the frog is jumping all over me. But sometimes when we walk, you can see a fox, you can see a chipmunk, you can see cats, you can see squirrels, you can see some rats and some mice. But you know what? You have to appreciate nature. all beings. So,
well, and I was, you know what? I think that when you are out in nature, at least for me, because in Dallas, it's like it's hard to enjoy nature like at this time of the year because it's so hot. But it's good, I think, for me spiritually and emotionally, and as well as physically. I mean,
yes.
I think that I get some of my best plotting and planning done like when I'm walking in nature. And I guess, as you said, because we're all connected, that there is something that kind of fuels that spirituality.
That's right.
Well,
And so
yeah.
and when we were walking, one time one of the ladies had said, "Oh my goodness," she said, "I've never walked in a park before." So I said, "Well,
I cannot.
I'm being serious."
I know you are, because I still cannot.
And I said, "You know what? Just look around as we're walking. Like you see the trees, you see the leaves, you see the dirt, you see the animals scurrying around. This is letting you show an appreciation for life. These are all gifts to us. And just the quiet, because we're used to hearing the horns honking outside. Because right now my office is very quiet, but normally if I was here during the day, I'd hear the horns honking because the trucks are wanting to hurry up and make that right hand turn, and the car in front of them is going so slow. But we have to be able to slow down and appreciate everything that is around us. So when you're outside, you're calm, you're relaxed. So when you went to the spa, even though the spa was supposed to be a relaxing experience for you, it wasn't, because you're not used to just slowing down, and instead of being outside and connected in nature, this is you being inside and connecting with yourself and allowing yourself to enjoy an experience, because it's an experience to go to the spa. You are truly being pampered. Someone is putting their hands on you, and when somebody touches you, that helps to relax you. It slows down your heart rate for the most part when it's a loving touch. But you have to be able to appreciate that. And that's something that I would want you to truly work on. I mean, I know that if I'm feeling stressed, if I go outside or if I go to the beach and just sit by the water or walk on the boardwalk, that's a very calming experience for me. That's why wherever I live, I have to live by some water.
I said the same thing. It's like I'm in Dallas now, and it's like a desert. And I was like, the next time I move, I have got to be by some water. I was like, either that or I'm gonna build a lake in my backyard. I
Hey,
just
come
want
on, Ellen.
so we're talking to the Fit Doc, Dr. Michele Reed. We're talking about how you can be the boss of your own transformation. Something happened with the post, and so it says something different, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking to the Fit Doc about being the boss of your own transformation. And you said the first thing that we have to do is prioritize. We've got to put ourselves at number one. What's the next thing that we have to do?
Well, the second thing is figure out what you like to do. So you said that you like to be outside. So if you're outside, and I don't want you to use or anyone else to use heat or humidity as an excuse, it's a little earlier, or you go out later on in the evening.
Yeah.
Okay, because we know those are the times when it's the coolest. So don't say, "Oh my gosh, it's so hot out here in Houston, I can barely breathe." No, you just go a little earlier. And if you enjoy walking, that's what you need to do, is walk. If you like to ride your bike, ride your bike. If you rather exercise inside your house because you don't want to go to the gym and you don't want to bother getting dressed, do that. Exercise naked. I don't care. Find something that you enjoy doing
Yeah.
and do it. And so that's the second thing. See what you enjoy.
But I guess my question is, and I get that. I honestly get that. And I think that I do try to go more with the flow now, as opposed to what everybody says you should be doing to for it to really be impactful. But you know, what if you have certain goals you want to achieve? So like maybe you need to lose 50 pounds. And so you really need to tone up and gain muscle. I mean, can you do that taking a walk?
Well, that's the next thing. If you have a goal of losing weight, what is your time span that you want to lose weight? So don't say,
Tomorrow.
see, there you go. I was getting ready to say in 1 month. So it has to be a realistic goal. So if you want to say 50 pounds, you know you can't lose 50 pounds in 1 month. You can't lose it in 2 months. Maybe we should go over like 6 to 8 months, something that's realistic.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so if I want to lose this weight, how much time can I really dedicate to exercise? Because it says that research says 150 minutes of vigorous exercise. And we say vigorous exercise, that's the heart rate going up.
Right.
You little breathless. You
That's
sweat
150 minutes a day?
a week.
Oh, I was like, woo. Okay. Okay.
Listening
Like
to
that's
that.
2.5 hours on the Stairmaster. My God. Okay. A week. Okay, good.
But you know what? But that's what you start doing. And if you say, you know what, I don't have 150 minutes a week to exercise, let's break it into a day.
Yeah, but seriously, who doesn't have 150 minutes in a week to exercise? I mean, that's 2.5 hours.
You should do a poll right now and see how many people exercise.
Well, but they don't because they don't. That doesn't mean there's not enough time.
No, but okay, ask them if they have enough time to exercise. Do people feel that they have enough time to exercise? Do you feel
Okay, I'm going to ask the question, but then I want to point out that the president had time to work out every single day. Okay, so we have time. We just don't prioritize it.
Well, we take the time, or we make the time to do what we consider to be important.
Absolutely.
So it's important for us to go get our hair done. It's important for us to get our nails done. So we will dedicate that allotted time once a week, twice a month to get it done. So why can't we do the same thing for ourselves, for our insides? So our insides are feeling good.
Okay, so we do want to see your comments. So if you in the last month have said you don't have time to go to the gym, tell on yourself and just drop a thumbs up in the, now we should put a thumbs down in the, because we don't want to encourage that kind of behavior. So put a thumbs down emoji in the comments so we can kind of check on you guys, and then we can figure out a plan. Because I mean, there are days when I don't work out, but I can never say it's because I don't have time. Because like you said, I mean, because you can have some really impactful workouts in a short amount of time. You just have to be very strategic about it, right?
You have to be very focused. So there's an app that I like to tell my patients about. It's a 7-minute workout. We all have 7 minutes.
Yes.
7 minutes. And even if you don't know what the routine is because you don't know how to do a push-up, you hit the little button, takes you straight to YouTube, shows you how to do a push-up, and then takes you back to the exercise. But more times than not, what people start to do, once they've done it one time for 7 minutes, they'll do it again. So that 7 minutes now becomes 14. And that 14 becomes 21. And then there's a beginner's one, then there's an intermediate, and there's an advanced one. So you're progressing as you're spending time doing this exercise. And more times than not, you can do it right there at your house. You can do it when you're at work.
Yeah. So, you know what? One of the things that I know that you say all the time, and I think this is like really true, that daily steps lead to change. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think we look at, like I said, like I don't need to lose 50 pounds, but if that was the goal, we look at the 50 pounds. We don't look at like the first two. Mm-hmm. And so it's like this overwhelming thing. And so for people who may not have been in a routine, I guess this 7-minute app or doing a short walk, or is that the best way to start?
It is. I mean, it's really the best way to start, because in my book, Mentally Fit, Physically Strong, I say the first chapter is your starting line. Your starting line is the point that you are at right now. And that's the hardest step sometimes. People think it's me saying committed. No, it's me saying, you know what, I'm not happy where I am right now. I realize I want to do better. I want to feel better. So what is it that I have to do? I'm going to commit to doing it.
Yeah. I know. And it's like, for me, because I'm like one of the most competitive people I know. So, it's bad. It's bad. My son and I went to the gym not too long ago, and he was like, well, let's run. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, Mom, I was like, you either gonna stop before I do, or I'm gonna die on this treadmill. Like, that's how bad it is.
So you were trying to be like Gabrielle and Dwayne with that commercial.
but you know, I'm in my 40s and he's 16. So let's do the math. So for me though, and so I guess one of my biggest challenges is if I feel like I can't do 120%, like I don't want to do anything. Like I don't want to go for a little walk and not break a sweat. Like I don't want to do any of that. And so it really though, I think, is the realization that this is a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. This is something you should be in, not just, and maybe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, do you encourage people to set like, you know, like I want to lose 50 pounds by my class reunion, or I want to do this? I mean, do you encourage people to set those kind of goals?
I encourage people to set goals, because that's the first step, because you have to know what your plan is. So if your plan is you want to lose weight, let's start put that as your goal. And the next thing is it something that is really measurable? Can we tell that you lost weight by looking at you, by putting you on the scale? And then the next thing is, it has to be something that's achievable. So don't say, I'm going to lose the 50 pounds in 1 month. No, it has to be over a certain amount of time. And we have to be realistic.
Yeah.
That's
I'm getting better.
In our goal.
I'm getting better.
But you know what you want. So these
Mhm.
are the ways of you getting to your end point, your goal. And
Yeah.
overall, we want you to be healthy. That's
Right.
the
And I was just getting ready to say that. I mean, I think that, like in my 20s or whatever, it really was more about the way I looked. Like you wanted to fit those jeans, you wanted them to look a certain way. But I think now, and so I won't even weigh myself anymore because I think now it's really more about how I feel, and doing the kinds of things, that just make me feel better. So I definitely feel different, if I'm working out regularly, whatever that looks like, as opposed to not doing anything at all.
But
So
for Nikki, for you, it's a combination of both. Because yeah, it's a combination of how you feel, but it's also how you look.
no, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to feel great at like 200 pounds. Oh no, yeah, like yeah, I'm still trying to stun on them, as my son would say. Um, but it's not the primary thing. And before in my 20s, where it was like, 130 pounds to me was like, okay, that's what I should be. That was not what I should be.
Yes.
And and you kind of do things, I think, to manipulate the scale that may not always be, like I wouldn't drink water a lot of the times because the water adds the weight, and so obviously that's not healthy.
Yes.
And so I think now, like I said, I don't weigh myself, but I certainly can tell, like if I've gained a pound or if I've lost. I mean, you can tell. I mean, you've lived with yourself for so long, you can tell. So yes, I want to stun on them, but I also want to feel good while I'm doing it. And I think that, though, for me is the priority now, as
Yes.
opposed
It's
to
a
the other.
combination of both. I mean, because in my practice, I have patients who are having heart attacks and strokes and getting
Oh my
diagnosed
gosh.
with pre-diabetes. We have some pre-diabetics who are 11 and 12 years old. So if we don't start to nip that in the bud, eventually those pre-diabetics, by the time they get into their 20s, they're going to be diabetics. But
Yeah.
the goal is, let's prevent it from happening. Let's prevent them from being a pre-diabetic. Let's prevent you from being 50 pounds overweight. What can we do to start early? And that's part of the reasons why we're having our second annual Fit Doc retreat, October 3rd through the 6th, because Nikki's going to be there with us.
In
And
Jamaica.
right, and we are talking about be the boss of your transformation mentally, physically, spiritually, and sexually, because all of that ties over into who you are as your
Did
individual.
you say sexually?
Sexually,
I didn't know that was on the ticket.
yes,
We're,
yes,
we're gonna learn to be the boss of that too.
that's right. That's how you incorporate.
Lord Jesus.
And the beauty of it, we're going to have sessions. It's going to be for men and women. Some of the sessions are going to be joint, but a lot of it's going to be separate because I realize that men will not talk to women about or talk
In
to
front
women
of them, yeah.
about certain issues. So we're going to let the men have their time, the women are going to have their time, and then we'll come together in the evening. If you want to come together with your partner, whoever you came with, that's fine, but that's on you. But you're going to be getting tools as to what to do now and when you get back home.
Right.
And that's in
Right. And
all
that's the
aspects of your life.
and I mean, I think the most fascinating thing about this is you just really get immersed in the whole health and wellness thing and being fit. And like you said, being the boss of every aspect of your life, but also knowing that once you leave, that there is going to be a plan, a Fit Doc plan in place to keep you on that path is going to be great. And so I know Nicole is watching. Nicole, if you could do us a favor and just drop the website link for the retreat in the comments, but also people are asking for your book. So also drop the link for the Fit Doc book in the website so people can. And see, Siobhan loves Soca. Siobhan wants to come to Jamaica with us. So yeah, so we're definitely going to drop the link so you guys can.
That'll be your exercise at night. So you'll be exercising in the morning and again at night.
Let me tell you, dance hall is the way I work it out around here. And I do it. I do it when I'm cooking or when I'm grilling out. And I don't know why at that particular time. And my youngest son is always like, really? A dance hall party again? Like, really? Like, it's all loud in the neighborhood. The neighbors are out there dance halling. So I love it. So one of the other things that I want to talk about that you talk a lot about is dropping the zeros.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't always mean the pounds. And so let's talk about what that means, dropping the zeros from your life.
Yes. So when we say zeros, we're talking about toxic people, toxic relationships,
Oh my goodness.
toxic jobs, toxic food. Because 80% of your health is your food. And that's what you eat, when you eat, how you eat it. So I can be the best vegetarian in the whole wide world because I'm a raw vegan, which we know is not true. But I'm a pescatarian who loves pork, so that's my weakness. So every now and then I have to have pork, but I'm being true to myself. That's who I am. So it's knowing what to eat, when you eat it, and how much to eat it. So
So
that's
give us some general rules. So I know that one of the things that I heard is that like when you shop, if you like shop on the outside of the grocery store, that's where all the good stuff is, like the vegetables and the fruit, and then it's the inside where we get to the danger zone. So give us some general rules about, first of all, what kinds of stuff are good for us, and what we should stay away from.
so the first rule is never shop on an empty stomach.
Gosh,
That's the worst thing to do because you'll be tasting everything. They'll be like, you want some cheese, you want a hot dog, you want a piece of sausage, you'll taste everything. So always make sure that you eat before you go. And then once you get into the grocery store, it's always best if you have a plan of action, have a list. Whatever is not on the list, guess what? Don't buy it unless you really need it and it's a piece of fruit or some vegetables.
One of the things that I started doing, because I used to go to the grocery store, not only would I go, but my kids would go. So I would end up with all sorts of stuff that we didn't need because they just be putting stuff in the basket. I started ordering it online.
That's true.
Going to pick it up because you stick to your list. You don't see extras. You don't think about it while you're putting the list together. And that has been a game changer for my grocery shopping. I will tell you.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, I've done it before. I formed a good relationship with one of the local supermarkets that I did a taping with. So now, whenever I need food to be delivered, they'll do it for us. So that's probably the best thing to do.
You bougie. I drive and get mine.
He said that you're a priority. So I've made myself the priority. I need you to own up on it too.
I know.
You're the priority. So if you
you're
want
right.
to listen to dance hall music because that's the way you're going to be healthy and you're going to make some really banging food, you do that. So food, eating healthy food choices. So you're going to shop around the perimeter. That's where the freshest foods are, your fruits, your vegetables, and your meat and your fish. As you start to go inside, that's the food that's in the boxes and the cans, the processed foods. Right. So research has shown it's better to have the unprocessed foods. Okay? So that's the key with shopping. Okay. Now, the next thing what we'll talk about, and of course when you come to the retreat, we'll talk more, and we're actually going to have a chef who's going to talk about healthier food choices and healthy recipes and even some vegan recipes. But the next thing is toxic relationships. So if you know that man or woman in your life is not supporting you, is not being healthy towards you, and when I say healthy towards you, that's not just depriving you of certain things, it's the verbal abuse, it's the physical abuse. Yeah. Because all of that can cause high blood pressure, that's extra stress in your life, and we don't need any extra stress. There's enough going on with the politics of our world right now and everything else, and all the changes in healthcare that we don't need anything extra. So if that relationship that you're in is not a positive relationship, because last week we talked about the loneliness epidemic on my page with Dr. Alduin Tart, and he's going to be there at the retreat. Yep. We have to be honest, who we are in our relationship and who we're also attracting. So eliminate.
It doesn't even just trigger stress, but it triggers all sorts of bad, you eat bad, like you eat your feelings, you don't want to work out. It just triggers all sorts of stuff. But I think it's scary for a lot of people to make some of these changes and to let things in their life go. But I mean, I think just the way of the world is that if you don't have space for good stuff, the good stuff doesn't come. So you have to get rid of the bad stuff to open up the space for the good stuff.
And I like to say that we have to get uncomfortable in order to be comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Because if
you'll be the boss of your own transformation and stay safe.
That's right. I mean, and we have to get uncomfortable because otherwise we're going to stay the same status quo. So in order for us to really change and grow, we have to make that first step and be uncomfortable, to be fearful.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that people think that like fear or being, a little, like you said, uncomfortable or a little scared of what might be happening is a bad thing. And it really is not. Because I think if you're never scared, then you're not doing anything big. So if you don't ever have a little fear like about what's going to happen next, then you really are not pushing yourself to the limits, that you should go to, because then you're still being safe. Still
Yes.
being safe.
I was gonna say, because even with me, I mean, as a doctor, I've had my private practice for 17 years. So if you look around, there aren't that many private practices that are still around. They're all being taken over by hospitals. So yes, I am very uncomfortable with all the changes in healthcare, but I also know what I want. I know what I'm expecting, and I feel comfortable being uncomfortable because I know that I'm changing, medical field is changing, and I'm
Right.
going along with that change. So can we go to
You're
toxic work
so,
environments?
huh?
Toxic work environments?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. Let's talk toxic work environment. You know what is so interesting, because I mean, so I was in a very
Wow.
dysfunctional, well, because it's like, I know people are watching it, and I know I don't want it to get, I don't want people to go say Nikki was talking about you, but I was a part of a very dysfunctional work environment for a long time. And it's hard, because a lot of times, you love parts of it, but then parts of it are kind of crazy. And sometimes you don't realize how crazy the crazy is till you're not a part of the crazy anymore. You know what I mean? And so it's like, just the first time that I woke up and I was like, oh my, I don't have to deal with this crazy. Like, the first time I didn't have to go to a Monday meeting. I mean, it was just such a stress relief. And and it's like, it's so crazy. It's crazy when only people can talk to you, when you can only talk to people that used to work there, because nobody else will understand the crazy. That's what's really crazy. So yes, let's talk about toxic work environments. Sorry.
Well, when you're not happy at work, you bring it home.
Yeah. Yes.
And that causes increased stress at home. And then at the same time, when you're at work, your coworker asks you for something and you're like, no. And they're like, well, I just asked for that piece of paper that's
Mm-hmm.
right next to you. And you start snapping at people. And that's that negativity that just starts to fester inside of you. And that's that extra stress. That's that anxiety. That leads to depression. That leads to the blood pressure going up. That leads to your glucose going up. That leads to increased cholesterol. Because once you're having that stress at work, you start neglecting yourself.
And we spend the majority of our time at work. That's what's so crazy to me.
Hey,
It's like, as crazy and as dysfunctional as some of the work environments I've been in have been, I still loved what I did. So I couldn't imagine it being crazy and you hate it. Like, you hate going and do it. Like, I couldn't imagine spending the majority of my life in that kind of a situation.
mhm. But it has to be something that you enjoy because when you enjoy something, you're a lot more productive. You feel
No,
happy.
sure.
You look forward to going to work. And just like you said, I mean, what's the point of you working so hard if it's something that you don't enjoy doing? I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy seeing patients. I enjoy public speaking. But at the same time, I don't like the changes that healthcare is going through, but I'm doing my best to adapt to it. So
Absolutely.
you have to either adapt to what's going on or find yourself a new situation. I remember like when I first started the practice and I told one of the patients, I was like, if you're not happy where you are right now, start to look for another job. 3 months later, calls back and speaking to the receptionist, is telling the receptionist, well, can you just tell Dr. Reed to write that note for me to return back to work? I'm like, wait a second. I never even said to like leave the job.
Leave, right?
But you
uh,
have to be realistic. If you're not happy, start to look for an exit because you should be happy every day that you show up to work because that's your life. That's the
no,
career.
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So we have a couple of questions. One person wants to know what the best grocery store is. I don't know if you can really give an answer to that, but they want to know what the best grocery store is. And then somebody else asked about, you talked about the portion sizes and we never got to that. So they wanted to know like how much they should be eating. And then I have another question, but let's talk about those two things first.
All right. So the best grocery store is a grocery store that's not a bodega, that's not a deli, and it has no because realistically, like especially in New York,
I know, I know.
that are food deserts
Yeah.
where they don't have access to fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. So I would say a grocery store that's the best is one that's affordable to you and that has a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables. And of course, it's clean
Mm-hmm.
because cleanliness is big to me. So if it doesn't look clean,
Right.
I'm not going to step my foot in the door.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely agreed.
And then as far as plate size, I was like, I would go and grab it because I have like
Now, okay, just you have a what?
a nice picture of a
Oh,
perfect plate. But if you go to myplate.gov, I can't even talk right now. I think I need to drink some more water. But myplate.gov, it shows you the amount of fruits, vegetables, proteins, carbohydrates that you should have.
right.
So more than half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. And the rest, as we divided it into fourths, the rest, one quarter should be your protein, and the other quarter should be your carbohydrates.
Okay, so this kind of leads into our next question, which is all of the diets, like the keto diet and
Oh,
the
goodness.
intermittent fasting and all of those things. Do you have any warnings around those, or any recommendations, or what are your thoughts on those?
So don't do any diets. Don't do any diets. No, seriously.
I know
Just
you're serious.
make the lifestyle changes because the word diet has die in it. So that's something that's going to end,
Mm,
something that is going to be short term. Because guess what? Today you're going to be doing keto. Tomorrow you might be doing the vinegar and lemon diet
I've
or
never heard
honey.
of that.
And then next time you might be doing the bone marrow. So it's like you keep changing. Let's just
Right.
be consistent. You know exactly what you should eat. Let's just try and have you start to eat it. Because more times than not, we overeat as a society. You go out to
Oh,
eat,
absolutely.
and the portions are sometimes triple as to what they're supposed to be. And some
Absolutely.
people sit there and make sure we clean the plate. There's no
Absolutely.
reason for us to eat that much food. And then maybe like about an hour or 2 hours later, what are we doing? We're going to bed. We're not going for a walk after we eat. Even though I think that would be very romantic if it was a date.
Yes, it would
We're
be.
not doing that. We
Yes,
are
it would be.
so inactive as a society.
Oh no, absolutely we are.
Yeah, so let's switch it up. If you go out to eat, divide the plate in half. As soon as it comes, just ask them for a container and split it up.
My parents don't even order two different meals anymore. They they order one and like, "Did you bring two plates, please?" And we're like, "Oh," but
And they probably hold hands and go for a walk after they
oh
eat.
yeah, they're absolutely goofy.
Yes,
But
and
so
they're
but keep, they are, no, they are healthy, absolutely.
healthy.
But are there any diets that you can? So can you be on keto forever, or can you be? No.
No, you
Okay.
can't. You're not supposed to be on anything forever, just the lifestyle change.
Okay.
Sometimes with diabetics, we might put them on a keto diet short term, but long term, no.
Like I think I've been on the intermittent fasting diet like my entire life. Like
Hmm.
people act like that's a big thing, but I'm like, don't we always? Aren't you always supposed to fast at night? Like, don't you? Isn't there a break?
But you know what? It's just somebody coming up with another name for something.
No, I'm like,
Because breakfast is breaking the fast from the night before.
absolutely.
Because
It's
you know, there are some people, at least I hear from my patients, they'll wake up 2 or 3 times to have something to eat or have something to drink. They're not
that
breaking.
used to be me, but it's not me anymore. But then I wouldn't eat during the day, so I was still fasting. It was just backwards. I was a strange child. My mother would have to tell you about it. And my mother is on. My mom is watching. So, what are some final thoughts before we give out the information again about the retreat? Because I mean, that is most exciting, I think, for most of us. I mean, it's one thing to talk about health and wellness from your living room, but to do it in Jamaica is phenomenal. But what are some final thoughts on how people can be the boss of their transformation?
So when you're at home, set up your own sanctuary, a place that's just for you. No one is going to bother you. And what I like to do is I start my day off with meditation. It's very quiet. I will read my scripture. I'll read what the meditation is for the day. And that just helps me to stay focused. It relaxes me. And at night, I forgot to say, shut off your cell phone. Turn off the TV. You
Yes.
need sleep. You don't need distraction from the light. So, like, even right now as I'm talking, I can see my screen from the other computer. Shut everything down because we need to relax. And
Mhm.
that's part of the reason, like when you went to the spa, you couldn't shut down and relax because you're so used to being on the
I was
go.
watching TV at the spa.
And that's not what you're supposed to do. You need to shut it down and relax. And
That's
that's
so
why we're
funny.
having the retreat in Jamaica. Because I need to remove people sometimes from their environment so that way they can be in a
Yeah.
new environment. They can feel uncomfortable so they can be comfortable. And when you are unplugged from everything, all you have to do is just focus on you, because you have to remember you are the number one priority. That's key. And what I like about the retreat is each of the speakers that we're going to have, from Mickey Taylor to Dr. Alderman
Of
Tarr.
Essence Magazine. Stop, don't skip that part.
That's right, Mickey Taylor from Essence Magazine, the beauty editor in chief. She is going to be there talking about finding your passion, your purpose. Gwen Butler will be there, and she will be talking about your sexual health, being intimate with not just yourself, but with others. And Dr. Tart, he's going to talk about our relationships for men and for women. And like I said, we're going to have some cross coverage with other people. And we do have some other people that we're going to be bringing to the lineup, because we're going to be focusing on men's health and women's health. So men will have their own speakers that they can ask any type of questions that they want to ask, having to do with their health, and not have any women that are going to be into their business. Because I know men are very private. They're more so private than we are.
Yes, they are. Private and sensitive.
But the even more special thing is, besides the fact that everyone will get a Fit Doc follow up, everyone will get a one-on-one with each of the speakers.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Butler, that's going to be the yoga specialist, that's going to be Nico Fit. How can I forget my man Nico?
Yeah.
Nico is the one who is going to make sure you stay tight and right in all aspects of your fitness journey.
It's going to be a ton of fun too. I'm just going to say.
Food and music too.
Food and music. So we are going to have fun. There are going to be a ton of us there. And so we want you to join us. It's in October, so you have time to plan and make sure that you can be there. We put the link once, but I'm going to be in the comments in just a second to respond to some questions and say, hey, to a lot of people. And so we'll make sure that we post the link a few more times, but definitely check it out. Yeah. Also, we put the link for Dr. Reed's book, so you can get that. And, you can just really start to own this thing. We've got so much information from Dr. Michele tonight, but there's so much more to talk about. So we definitely want to make sure you guys stay connected to the Fit Doc as well. And you could do a Google search actually. And she's got a group on Facebook where you can get more information, special videos that she does. You can see her walking every single day and double dutching and all that kind of stuff. And you can get more information on the retreat. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, Nikki. I can't wait to see you in Jamaica.
Amongst my peoples. I was like, don't be surprised if my family shows up at the hotel. I'm just saying. Just saying. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. So that is in October. Don't forget to check the link. You can still ask comments. If you are watching this on the replay on Facebook, hit hashtag replay so we know, and I'll make sure I come sit back and say hi to you guys. And we will see you next time. Thank you. We'll have to have you back and ask more because we still have more questions. So we'll have to have you back on.
That's no problem. I deeply enjoyed it. Thank you, Nikki.
You're so cute.
Thank you, everyone, to see you in Jamaica.
All right, you guys, I will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.